Good morning on this foggy, cool day. Hopefully everybody's got a sweater on or a coat or something to keep them warm. Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Linda Sperry and I'm your worship associate today. I'm joined by Reverend Judy Tomlinson and Jacob Swetlin, our Director of Music Ministries. Danielle Lewis, our Director of Religious Education for Children and Youth, will be back with us next Sunday, as will our minister, Reverend Sean Wiltshire, who joins us today with a video message.
Hello, Roomers and Zoomers. So I'm away this week, but my spirit is with you. For those of you who are new to the church, maybe you're just checking us out or curious about Unitarian Universalism, welcome. Glad you're here. You are in for a treat. This is a wonderful, friendly, fabulous, just all-around spectacular community. I hope you can get to know them because it can be kind of tough to get to know a new community. But here's the thing, just hang in there, join in one of the activities, and before long, you'll get to know people, and then this becomes your church. Well, today we've planned a wonderful service for you, just blending music and word to bring together a helpful and hope-filled message. We hope it will feed your soul. So without further ado, let's go.
All right, let's go. Whether you have been here 30 years or 3 years, 10 months or 10 minutes, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we're glad that you joined us. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors, and it looks like we have quite a few today. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you will find it here. We're a community of many different beliefs. We are bound together, not by dogmas or creeds, but rather a covenant to create a welcoming and loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of building this community, let's recognize the many volunteers who have helped put the service together today. Thank you. Roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phone. You're not wanting to be the one that has the ringer go off in the middle of the service. Zoomers, we invite you to say hello in the chat. And I have a feeling we've got a fair number of Zoomers today, given the weather. They're probably in their jammies right now watching us. As we worship today, let us acknowledge that our church property rests on the sacred ancestral homelands of the Hachiman and Tongva peoples who seek justice and responsible stewardship. We begin our worship with a special reading before we light our chalice. Into Many Coming Years by Mary Sheldon. We cannot know what all the year may bring, and would we heed the prophecy if we could? Bright flame, awake, send forth your shining light beyond this year into the many coming. Show us the ways of love and help and care, of justice, mercy, and equality. Illuminate unto the generations. Show to the world a beacon of safe harbor. Help us to find the kindred warmth within us and among us to help make it so. Please join me in our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing our opening song, Rise Up, O Flame. Rise up, O flame, by the light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by the light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Into these days, separated into before and after, We learn to live in the in-betweenness, between the ways of being and knowing, held in the waiting of winter, where we know all plans and predictions are partial, and where we learn to pivot as a spiritual practice. For us, gathering like this, for this hour, it is a way to mark time, to know ourselves here and now, straddling worlds, maybe for our whole lives. We revel in curiosity and let the learning wash over us. Here we refuse to be seduced by certainty. Here we praise the mystery. Here we give thanks for all that remains hidden. In this liminal time, all that grows beneath the earth and behind the stars, beyond our view, beyond our lifetime. Let us know ourselves as sowers of seeds, tenders of possibility, called to presence and partnership, beyond our imaginations, with resolve in our hearts. We remember, we promise, to stay in relationship, to repair what has been broken, to do more than just survive, to insist on joy, and to lead in love.
It starts very quietly. It starts with a spark. It starts in the center. It It starts very quietly.
Let us quiet our minds and open our hearts with these words by Linda Hart. In the quiet of these moments, let us take a common breath, unclench, and open to each other and the Holy One we call by many names. We arrive in these moments bearing the whole of our lives. We bring with us the worries and troubles of our days, sometimes overwhelming, loss beyond words, pain and struggle, known only in the deepest places of our hearts. Here in the quiet, joined with each other, may we release from our hearts all of those pains and find a moment of peace. We come to these moments with the freshness of love, the grace of small treasures, with hope and faith, knowing well the promise of the dawning day, even in the longest of nights. Here in the quiet, may we lift up our hearts in gratitude for the gifts of our lives, pausing in thanksgiving. It is written that to everything there is a season, and in our hearts we know that it is true. As the earth spirals, just emerging from the solstice, let us open to the blessed darkness, praise renewal that comes as the light slowly returns. So may it be. And let us join in our centering hymn, Dark of Winter.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Howard Thurman writes, "Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Despite the dullness and barrenness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time, it was full-orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the journey. Details, lower level demands, all kinds of cross currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, may I not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve.
Have you heard B.B. King riffing with Lucille, his guitar, sliding from bright phrases to mournful sounds to the blues? Musically, those haunting notes are known as blue notes. The thing about blue notes is that a simple definition can't capture what they are. If I were to tell you that a blue note is either a flattened third or the seventh note on a scale, instead of the expected major interval, I have only told you part of the story, and you have gotten no blues in these here words. You see, the thing about blue notes is that one has to feel more than hear them. Only then can you get the blues. This part of the genius of our Black music, jazz, blues, gospel, hip-hop, we have infused them with life beyond the notations in which they appear. We just don't play a jazz piece, we swing to it. We don't just rhyme to a beat. We deliver our lyrics with style and flair, with our unique signature through the beat. The blues is special in this regard. We have learned to feel the blues and be moved by it, and we have gained a deeper understanding of our suffering through it. Blue notes also teach us something else, the importance of a resolution. Blue notes are flat notes instead of the expected major note. Because of this, musically, you can't just hang on the note forever. At some point, you need to let go of it and come to a resolution. It is through the resolution of the note that we can appreciate the deepness of the sorrow in the sound, but also come to know, in a feeling way, that there is a way forward. Perhaps some years are like blue notes, bending us into a mournful sound. In the span of 12 months, our lives can change in ways we can't always fathom. Years such as this one call for resolution, not the kind entered into as an end of the year compulsion that will be given up by mid-February, but a deeper kind, the kind that in the midst of suffering and grief, visited by grief, holds on to the miracles of resurrections like the dawning of a new day.
About 100 yards down, on a plateau that juts down and then out into the horizon, with an edge that leads to nothing but air, there's a woman. And she's 40 feet from the edge. And then she begins to run. Oh my God. But it's okay, maybe, because in her hands is a bar that she holds on to, and over her shoulders are the wings of a glider. And she's running, And just as she gets close enough to leap, a big breath of air pushes her back, the nose of her glider, and pushes her nearly on her back. So she backs up again, undeterred, and puts herself in her starting position and seems to stare down the uncertain horizon. She seems to say with her body, "This is just a wee jump." And then she starts running again, and she gets closer and closer, and then she rears up and pushes the nose down and stops right on the edge, her body seeming to say, "Are you sure? You trust these wings? You have faith in this air?" Then she backs up again, more uncertain, but still undeterred, and puts herself in her starting position and stares out into the open horizon and its invisible currents. Her body seems to say, "Trust, trust, faith, faith." And as she starts running, and just as she gets closer, a big breath comes and pushes underneath the wings and lifts her body out into the open, uncertain, scary, beautiful, wild, empty, turbulent twilight sky. Friends, here's the thing. Though I'm uncertain of much and have more questions than answers, this I believe, that on these edges and on these plateaus, the bars we hold onto are the hands that we hold together, and the wings over our backs are the community we create. And that together we can step back, get into the starting position that is this new year together, and I believe that we can start running to that edge and leap, maybe even with just a wee bit of faith. And that the breath of love will carry us through the messy, turbulent, beautiful, wild, empty, uncertain horizon of our lives.
I knew a man who had printed on his stationery this proverb: "Nothing is settled, everything matters." It established a certain ambiance for reading his letters, as if to say, what you are about to read is to be taken seriously, but is not final. I remember him and his proverbs sometimes, especially when it seems impossible to change the world or myself in any significant way. Times like the beginnings of new years. Sorry, Jim, I say, it's not true that nothing is settled. In the past year, choices have been made. Losses have been suffered. There have been growth and decay. There have been commitments and betrayals. None of that can be undone. A year ago, no one knew whether during this year one person would become pregnant, another would get cancer, another would take a new job, another would have an accident, but now it is settled. One day this year, I was present just when someone needed me. Another day, I was busy doing something else when I was needed. One day, I said something to a friend that injured our relationship. Another day, I said something that enabled a person to see life in a new way. The best and the worst of these days is now written. All my tears of joy or sorrow cannot erase it. Says Jim, you have misunderstood the proverb. It is true that you cannot escape the consequences of your actions or the chances of the world. But what is not settled is how the story turns out. What is not settled is what is the meaning of your life. The meaning of a life is not contained within one act or one day or 1 year. As long as you are alive, the story of your life is still being told, and the meaning is still open. What's done is done, but nothing is settled. And if nothing is settled, then everything matters. Every choice, every act in the new year matters. Every word, every deed is making the meaning of your life, and telling the story of the world. Everything matters in the year coming, and more important, everything matters today.
Please join us in singing Return Again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Fire is a very powerful element. It conjures passion, anger, desire, resentment. It can destroy and radically alter that which it touches, yet it creates an expanse for the new, for new life to emerge, and returns richness to the seemingly barren. Rumors, you picked up slips of paper on your way in this morning on which to inscribe those things that from which you seek release. So on one piece of paper is a letting go of the old, and on the other, you'll write a hope for the new. And Zoomers, with safety in mind, you too can burn some paper at home, in your fireplace, in your fireproof cooking pan, have some water nearby, or you can simply write it in the chat what you would like to burn, and we will burn that paper for you. So simply write something that you are letting go of on one piece, and that you have a prayer or a hope, but really something that holds a measure of resolve for you in the new year. For the Zoomers, we'll say your name, but we will keep your letting go and your resolution private. There's no need to write that in the chat. And I hope all of you have begun to think about relinquishing the old, about letting go of a belief that tells you, I can't trust, I'm not ready, I can't let go. And I hope you're also imagining trying your wings, determined to take flight, to open to a more confident self, believing in each other, a community that will bring new opportunity into our lives and support us as we step into love that will create a new way of being. But first comes the act of letting go. There is power in ritual. I invite you to write on that first piece of paper those things from which you would like to be unburdened, you would like to put behind you. If anyone doesn't have such paper, Sandy is going around with some extras if you didn't get yours on the way in. So having been unfettered, having the faith to let go, and make room for the new? What unexpected music resolves in your heart and fills your mind? Where does your imagination take you? The decisions that you make matter. And I invite you to write that on your second slip of paper. You now have a cleansing and a prayer, and I invite everyone to come forward up into the burning bowl and put your papers.
light papers for Lee Marie and Anna. Thank you.
May what you have released here be gone forever from your spirit and cease to trouble you. May you be relieved and renewed, ever mindful that love is always more powerful than fear, and that compassion is the key to freedom from resentment. May your hopes and resolutions for the new year be your commitment and your prayer. May it offer guidance and direction for you as you take your first steps into the new year. So usually at this time of year, I like to talk about the fact that we are at the end of the year in a kind of liminal space, an interlude, a time of in-between, a time when we can reflect on our past without being quite ready to move into the future of a new year. This year, I feel something different. I feel like I am at the starting gate on high alert for the signal of the ball to drop in Times Square. I know that not everyone feels this way, but for me, the election in November caused a sense of grief. You might even say some level of despair. Maybe I give politics an outsized role in my life, and it kind of fills my vision and distorts my perspective. Maybe that's happened for you at this point in time, or maybe in some other. In any case, I knew I couldn't stay there for too long, that indulging those feelings wasn't going to get me anywhere. So I made up my mind that I would find a path out of the darkness, and I would follow it. You know, I thought about the Japanese art of kintsugi as a metaphor for healing, where an artist repairs a broken pottery with gold lacquer, making the piece more beautiful in the process. It helped that the winter holidays were soon upon us, and joy came back into my heart because these holidays are my favorite. And I decided that in the new year, I would move into what I thought of as resolve. So I spent a little time examining the word resolve and found it originally came from the Latin, from a verb meaning to loosen, thaw, or melt, so appropriate for overcoming the challenges of the winter months. But I'm talking about the word resolve as a noun. That means to be firm and determined, as in a New Year's resolution, or to declare that a formal decision has been made. My first formal decision was to be resolved not to be buffeted around by the chaos of national news, and I have been and continue to be firm in that resolution. Next, I resolved that as far as I am able, I will do something each day in the new year to make the world a better place. This idea came to me from an interview Francis Ford Coppola had with Stephen Colbert. Coppola believes that he believes in we human beings, that we are actually a species of geniuses, that we can solve any problem that is put before us, from inventing the wheel to overcoming climate change. He said, "Let it not be said that we reduced ourselves to be brutes, but instead that the human being shall rightly be called a miracle, that the future can be glorious, and we can live in a wonderful world for our children." So Coppola suggested that in the new year, instead of saying, I'm going to stop smoking or I'm going to lose weight, that we ask this question: is the society that we are living in the only one available to us? And the answer to that question will inevitably be no. We all know that this world can go in any number of directions, and as Coppola said, each one of us has the power to make it better. But it's a cliche, of course, that New Year's resolutions often don't last very long into the new year. So I wondered how I could keep the fire of my resolve burning, yet not burning out, over the course of the next few days or weeks. Did you know that New Year's resolutions date back 4,000 years? In 2000 BCE, the Babylonians celebrated their new year on the vernal equinox. That's about March 21st. They held what is called the Akitu festival for 12 days at the start of their planting season. What was their resolution? Being an agricultural society, they promised to return borrowed farm equipment. Oh, they also crowned their king and made promises to pay their debts. But the farm equipment was their big concern. So if you have any farm equipment that you've borrowed, now would be the time to return it. It wasn't until the Romans instituted the Julian calendar in 46 BCE that the new year moved to January 1st. The Romans would offer sacrifices and promises of good behavior to Janus, the two-faced god who simultaneously looked back into the past and forward into the future, the god of new beginnings. By the 17th century, the cliche of breaking one's New Year's resolutions was so common that people were making fun of the whole idea. In 1813, a Boston newspaper wrote, "There are multitudes of people accustomed to receive injunctions of New Year's resolution who will sin all the month of December with serious determination of beginning the new year with new resolutions and new behavior." I wonder if that's happened to any of us. We have such high hopes for new beginnings, don't we? But can the brilliance of our renewed sense of purpose really light the way to achieving our lofty goals? I have a few stories that inspired me to rethink this entire concept of resolve and resolution. They're all true stories. There were two brothers, we'll call them Lincoln and August. They live 1,000 miles apart. One day, Lincoln called August and said, "Let's commit to doing some form of exercise every day, anything you want. But we have to do it, rain or shine, even if we're sick, traveling, busy, doesn't matter. And we'll send each other a picture of ourselves doing it." They agreed, and it went on for a while. And then in February, Lincoln said, "How about if we do 300 push-ups a day for the month of March, come rain or shine?" Then Lincoln upped the ante again, eventually getting them up to 1,500 push-ups a day. OMG. That's 45,000 push-ups a month. I'm not suggesting we take the push-up challenge, but those brothers did several things that are relevant to us. They made a commitment. They had a daily practice, so they couldn't put it off till tomorrow. They had a buddy system and built in accountability into their resolution, sending pictures of themselves doing the task every day. They also kept challenging themselves, so it didn't get boring. They got pretty darn fit, of course, but more importantly, despite the miles between them, because they were in regular contact, August and Lincoln grew closer together as brothers. Benjamin Hardy is an organizational psychologist and best-selling author who tells the story of a man who had a lifelong problem that kept him isolated from others. His brother convinced him to go to a motivational conference. There, the man realized he had been telling himself a negative story about who he was for many years. And then, as a result of the conference, and especially the follow-up recordings that he listened to over and over and over again, he developed a new story, a story about who he was going to be. From the new story, he was able to change his outlook on life and to build a new identity, and that changed his behavior. To change our behavior is not a matter of willpower, which is finite and easily depleted. According to Susan Pierce Thompson, a brain and cognitive scientist, on the other hand, she writes, inner resolve is a deep commitment, renewed daily, to be unstoppable. By consistent daily actions, we build integrity with ourselves and reinforce the new story that we are telling ourselves. Are you telling yourself a story that is no longer serving you? Is it time for a new story? And finally, there's a story about a boy named Stephen. He was a very bright boy, but he lacked focus. Today, he might be diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. But in his junior year of high school, he figured out that if he studied for just 5 or 10 minutes and then went to shoot some hoops or play a video game and then came back, he would enjoy his studying and he would improve his grades. So he did. He became a straight-A student. Later on, as an adult, he was living and working in London, where he had a 45-minute commute, a walk across Hyde Park, each way to and from work. While walking, he usually listened to music on his iPod, but he decided he wanted to learn German. But he was busy. Where would he find the time? So he downloaded a German language program onto his iPod, and to make sure that he wouldn't relapse and lose his resolve, listen to music, he deleted it all. Now he was listening to German lessons 7.5 hours a week. He listened to the whole series 3 times through. To top it off, he went to Berlin for a 16-day intensive German course. When his wife and children met him there, they were shocked to hear him conversing fluently with the locals. The idea is that marginal improvements, such as study habits or other behaviors, if they are consistently made over time, can have a significant effect. Reading about that, I wondered what marginal improvements could I make? I wonder if you can think of any marginal improvements that you could make that would have a long-term impact on your life. Maybe some of you have already figured that out. Last Saturday, I spoke at a church in Laguna Woods as part of the Longest Night commemoration for all those who died unsheltered in Orange County. I was overwhelmed to learn that 386 people had died this year thus far, on track to be 400 by year's end. This is double the number from 2019, but fewer than last year. Shocking. Homelessness has been on my heart since returning to Orange County in 2018 and seeing the encampments along the Santa Ana River. And maybe that's what I need to focus on in 2025. can I make a difference, even if it's only a marginal improvement? I don't know, but I'm resolved to explore the situation further. And I'm determined to start by telling myself a new and hope-filled story that keeps my resolve high, right in front of me. I'm hoping we can, each of us, tell ourselves that kind of a story. And in doing so, we can move forward into the new year, resolute in our goals. So may it be.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing The Fire of Commitment. Hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze. When our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way. When we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when the hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month, we are sharing the plate with Share Ourselves. And it's important to know that our friends at Share Ourselves are looking forward to February 8th, so mark your calendar, when the grand opening is held of their new Costa Mesa clinic right across the street at the corner of Adams and Mesa Verde East. So that'll be exciting. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and this organization. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, or use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you're a roomer, you can also use a basket as it's passed by Sandy and Eric. The choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. And as always, thank you for your generosity.
Come and join the spiral, take our hands. We are sisters of a chosen clan. There's a circle here where magic flows, and we keep the fire burning. Through the night we rest assured, when shadows fall, a song will comfort. The homeland heart, its rhythm strong, shines on every tender soul. Share your laughter and your tears, and know the circle will enfold you. Listen closely to this land. The answer's here and all around, around, around. Together we weave a tapestry of light. It holds us through our passages of life. Women's hearts unite in love and soul. And the fire we keep alive and strong. Through the night you can be sure a woman's spirit will enfold you. Listen closely to your heart. The answer's here. The answer's here. Come and join the spiral, take our hands. We are sisters of the chosen clan. There's a circle here where magic flows, and we keep the fire.
Please join together in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses the many gifts for the gratitudes that we share. We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, not the fire of commitment. Peace be eternal in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. I hope you got as much out of this service as I did. Reverend Judy, you are wonderful as always. I always look forward to this service at the end of the year to inspire us. Thank you. If you're a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't been known to us, I invite you to become a part of this beloved community. If you'd like to know more about our church, we invite you to stop by the welcome table in the courtyard where we have some information, or you can contact us at hello@ocuuc.org and we'll help you get connected. Zoomers are welcome to stay after and chat with one another online. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we will help you get connected. So this week is a little bit slower as far as activities go, but I would encourage you, as you're thinking about the year ahead, get involved in a small group. We've got all kinds of things going on here, and I know I'm a part of an artist group. There were 4 or 5 of us yesterday, and that was fine. It was a small group, and we had 2 hours of getting to know each other better and just enjoying each other's company. So there's our Stitchwitz, the choir rehearsal. I'm sure that if you'd like to get involved, see this person right here in the front, because he encourages all to join. And the AHA group is meeting today as well. So please get involved, because that's really where it's at, getting to build small community within our larger community. Okay, Judy?
George Bernard Shaw writes, "Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. Our service is over. Let our service continue.